It basically snowed in Delhi yesterday, and while all of us are celebrating Delhi ki sardi, I'm angry at how ignorant we are, and I'm scared of what will happen in the future. Let me explain. This isn't some surprise that God was holding back, like, oh, Delhi hasn't had a proper winter in a while, so here you go, guys, have some ice. No, this is the effect of global warming, and surprise, surprise, global warming doesn't mean that it'll be hot everywhere all the time. Global warming means an increase in the temperature of Earth's climate. No, not weather. Climate. Weather changes to several degrees every day, but even the smallest changes like 1 to 3 degrees in Earth's climate can have devastating results. Global warming doesn't just cause heat. It causes intense weather conditions like floods from heavy rainfall, more frequent and intense heat waves.
Feels like you're sitting in an oven.
And droughts like the ones that happened in South Africa.
Is Cape Town's water crisis a cautionary tale for the rest of us?
And more intense storms like that happened yesterday here in New Delhi. This isn't some cause for celebration. This is the proof that we are going down a wrong path. Global warming doesn't just cause heat. It changes migration patterns of animals and birds, and the species that can adapt to the change in climate will survive, but many will go extinct. Global warming doesn't just cause heat, it makes our oceans rise, and since 1900s our ocean levels have increased on an average up to 8 inches, and out of those 8 inches, 3 inches increased since 1993. So your beachfront property will not be as valuable then. The oceans are warming up and acidifying, and most ocean life will not be able to adapt to that and will go extinct. And the Great Barrier Reef around the coast of Australia is already dying. Why do I care about ocean life? It doesn't affect me, I live on land. Well, you breathe, don't you? 50 to 80% of oxygen is made by phytoplankton that live in the ocean. So good luck breathing after they all die. Global warming doesn't just cause heat, there will be shortage of food because of the changes in weather patterns, floods and droughts caused by that. And the storm from yesterday probably already destroyed a lot of crops.
सरसों और आलू की फसल को बहुत ज़्यादा नुकसान पहुंचा है.
So that's a hit to our economy and our food supply. And for those of you who are thinking, oh well, I know about global warming, I understand that, but the government or some other company will take care of it. I don't need to be bothered by that. Well, they won't. The government isn't some saint fucking god who cares about people. The government is made of people and people have their self-interest. And the government only comes into action when the conditions become too severe. Take the Delhi air pollution for example. The air quality of Delhi is always on a hazardous level. But the government only makes a plan and takes some action for a few days around Diwali when we can all see the smoke with our eyes and feel it in our lungs. And after that, it all goes back to the way it was. When the government should be coming up with a long-term solution of this problem, they handle this problem for a few days until people forget about it. This has happened before. Have you ever wondered why it says unleaded when you go to buy petrol? Did petrol had lead in it previously? Well, yes, it did. And the companies who sold that leaded fuel tried to hide it for years from governments and people. And if it wasn't for Claire Patterson, a great scientist who found out that high amounts of lead in the air is caused by leaded fuel, and it is not naturally occurring in the environment like everyone believed at that time, we would still be breathing leaded air right now. His work was pushed back by the oil companies, his funding was taken away, and he was threatened to stop his work on lead. But eventually the government came to its senses and banned leaded fuel. But I'll not be surprised if told that a similar kind of thing is happening right now. Most countries are now capable of supporting themselves through renewable sources of energy like solar, hydro and geothermal.
130 other countries around the world. And we could power the whole place right now if we just decided to do it. with wind, solar energy, some tidal energy, some geothermal energy.
But we are still using coal to power our houses and petrol and diesel to run our vehicles. Global warming isn't something that will happen someday in the future. It is happening right now in front of our eyes, and we are willing to ignore it. We are literally taking out carbon out of the ground and putting it in the air. And trust me, it will be really difficult to put that carbon back in. This storm wasn't Delhi ki Sardi that has arrived now because it was due. It's a fucking warning of what's really happening. Only 2 degrees Celsius increment in Earth's climate is enough to cause devastating results. And we have already mined enough oil to make that happen. So, happy Delhi ki Sardi to you.